I'm Lauren with Packhacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Eagle Creek Gear Warrior XE, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. This bag has a lot going on the outside of it. It looks very technical, which you can see with like the lash points here for attaching gear, which I didn't really find myself using, but you could if you wanted to. There's also Hypalon details here. It feels like softer than Hypalon usually does, almost like it's like brushed versus being like kind of like slick like Hypalon often is, but you also have lash points for that on these as well, and some like extra Hypalon details kind of throughout here. There's also these two carry handles on the front. This is more of just like a, grabbing the bag and shifting it around type thing, in addition to the handles on either side there. So those are all very similar, not really much going on in terms of padding or anything, or by that I mean nothing going on in terms of padding. And then you do have this top carry handle here, which is really comfortable. It's pretty padded and really easy to grab. So I found this to be kind of the one that I was primarily grabbing, and then I would use like one of the side ones or top one for support or something like that. We also have compression straps, which honestly I didn't even find myself using. I think that it probably would have been fine without this. It does kind of compress this down a little bit if you really need to, but this has a pretty decent compatibility, at least when it's compressed, because it does expand on different airlines. So I feel like if you really needed to cinch things down, you could, but again, didn't really need to. And I actually found it to be a little more tedious because getting into this thing is honestly kind of difficult, which I'll show you when we get into that. But we also have 4 wheels here. I'll flip this upside down so you can see the 4 wheels. This is another like reinforced, they call it like the reinforced kick plate, so that when you're like kind of kicking this to tip it up on its side to roll it, that's, you're not kicking just the bag. And then we also have these wheels here, which, I mean, you can kind of hear how loud they are just like by that alone, me shaking it. But these wheels are definitely some of the louder ones I've tested. They also look like they're like ready to go off-roading, but they don't really feel sturdy enough, I would say, for me to feel comfortable like going real crazy. But if you're rolling over like cobblestone and stuff like that, it rolls perfectly fine. It's just loud, and I got kind of used to quiet wheels, so I do miss that. And then we also have the carry handle here. Oh, real quick, we also have a place for a luggage tag back here. You can just slip that in. And then we have the carry handle, which is actually zippered away, so you can pull that out. We have 2 adjustment points. We have 1 stopping point there, and then another stopping point there. We have 4 actually, 2, not 2, 4, double it. So you do have some height adjustment options there. The actual handle itself is, it's pretty comfortable. It's not like padded or anything, but it's like soft and pretty ergonomic, I would say. So it is comfortable to kind of haul the stuff behind you, but I don't love that this zippers away. It's just not super functional for me personally. It's pretty simple when it's sitting next to me with the 4 adjustment heights. It's the second one that's a little bit more comfortable for me personally. I'm 5'6", so if I wanted to just kind of tip it on one side, I can roll it back and forth on 2 wheels. And like I said, pretty slick. It's just a matter of the fact that it's a little bit louder than I'm used to at this point. And then with the 4 wheels, those work pretty well as well. So not the smoothest ride in the world, but in general functions pretty well. It's mostly just this zippered compartment. I think this looks just like a little bit goofy. And then when I tuck this away, put the handle down, I don't really feel like zipping it up every time, because if you're sitting at the airport, chances are even if it's right next to you, you want to just kind of reach down and be able to like get going. But in this case, if this was zipped, if it was right next to me, I would have to be like, oh, we're boarding, and then I'd have to unzip it every single time. And it's something that's so tedious and so small, but for me, it just didn't seem that functional. I think I would have been perfectly fine if that function wasn't there. So the outside here, we have the main compartment, and then we also have a side pocket. So with a lot of soft-sided luggage, so this is a 100% recycled 600D polyester dobby. It's a really durable feeling material. So like I mentioned, it's reinforced in a couple of different places with those like this Hypalon material. But in general, I feel like this can really stand up to like whatever you throw at it. It feels really it feels really well made and well constructed. It's just whether or not the style is something that you're into, I think, is really more of the breaking point, in addition to some of the access, which we'll get into. But first, we'll take a look at the side pocket. So the perk of soft-sided luggage is that you're more likely to get one of these, like side pockets for quick gear storage. This one here, you can see that the compression strap covers it, so you don't get like the full, you're only really missing like an inch there, but sometimes that makes a huge difference of being able to get gear in and out easily. But let's say we just pull it that way. You can see that it's a pretty flat pocket, but I'm able to fit 3 different things in here, right? So I've got my phone, I have an iPhone 14, regular size, and then I have a pack of gum and then my wallet. So between those 3 things, they fit in here really nice and easy. And if you don't like that was pretty much stacked. Like I stacked the phone and then the other stuff in front of it. If you don't stack like that, you have way more space in here. Like you can honestly put headphones in here, chapstick, whatever you want quick access to if you're not carrying like a personal item bag or something, like a small sling or something like that. You can get quick access to stuff here. You can also put your passport here, whatever you're feeling. And I like the inclusion of this. I think that it's tucked away really nicely off to the side. It's not really, like it blends in pretty well. It's got this nice reverse coil zipper, nice simple like Hypalon pull tab, YKK zipper, the whole shebang really. And I liked having that functionality, and it didn't really cut into the main compartment space either. So for me, it was kind of a win-win. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. So we're gonna take a look at the main compartment. This is where I get kind of annoyed. So with this here, like I said, we have the 4 compression straps here that kind of lock things down. So if you want to get into this, you really have to unlock at least this side because it is like a half zippered opening. You can just leave these ones. Like for the most part, I don't think throughout my testing I really even, well, no, I guess I technically did, but I really barely unlocked those. That's for more if you're doing the compression zipper, so we're just gonna, or the expansion zipper, so we're just gonna leave that like that. We have 2 chunky YKK zippers. I don't know, these kind of seem like a number 10. I actually don't know offhand if they are, but they are like kind of that wide zipper track. And nice Hypalon pulls and everything, but the way that it goes around, they're lockable zippers as well. You can kind of see, there you go, you can see where they lock. This was so difficult to get around every single time, and I feel like it was mostly around these corners that it got really, like you can see the amount of pulling I have to do just to get it open and shut, to the point where I was like, I would put all my stuff in here and then forget that I had one item that I had to put in, and I had already locked it all up, and I was like, oh, I have to like open this thing again in order to get my last item in here. And it just got really, I just really didn't like the experience of opening this, and I think that it would bother me, especially if I was like kind of hopping from place to place on a trip. But I do like once you get inside, so I've got that going for us. Gonna zip that real quick. So on the lid here, wait, let me do this. Move it this way. On the lid here, we have 2 mesh zippered pockets. This is where I would put clean undergarments here, and then as I use them, I put them up top or something like that. This is also a spot where you can put keys, because there is a key leash in here, and it's just a nice little kind of carabiner hook thing. I found myself not putting my keys in here. I would if I was going on like an extended trip or something, just so that they're out of the way. But for me, for the most part, my keys go in my sling when I'm traveling. The other thing with this is this top zipper would bump into this little Velcro bit pretty much every single time I went to open it, as you can see. And then this Velcro opening is where you can fit a laptop. So I have a 13-inch, and let me put this back in actually for a second. You can hear it kind of move around. So it shifted down to this side, shifted down to this side. So it's not the most secure in there. If you have a larger laptop, it's definitely gonna fit a lot better. But 13-inch, pretty much, I would say smallest I would go. Otherwise, it could potentially slip out here, but that keeps it pretty in line. And then the inside here has some pretty decent organization. So we have the tie-down straps here. I just have, a cube, a pouch. I have, some packing cubes, things like that. I was able to get, I think, 5 to 7 days worth of clothes in here. I have a men's size 12 shoe in here as well. You can see that's pretty much I would say, if you're gonna fit them this way, the largest that will fit, because these are pretty bendy. Like if you were doing a bigger shoe, it'd be definitely harder to fit in there. And then we have the like actual telescoping handle system down here. This is not covered, as you can see. Sometimes it'll be covered by a liner. In this case, I didn't mind that it wasn't covered by the liner, but it did make me, I guess, like more aware that it was there and how much room it was taking up, because you can see, I mean, you can't really see, I can't bend it properly, but like if we look at my finger here, it goes like a little past like that first knuckle. So for me personally, it was just like a little bit chunky, but you just pack around it like you normally do. So it's not the end of the world. I do like on the side though, we have a couple of different organization things. So we've got 2 mesh pockets here. This is like a passport size notebook, so you can put that in there if you really wanted to. And then that's it in terms of organization. It stays out of the way if you don't need it. And then if you wanted to do the expansion, you can do that, and it gives you, they say 10 liters extra of space. So it goes up to 50 liters. Kind of mixed signals based off of, up to 55, kind of mixed signals based off of how much space there actually is. On the tag it said without the expansion it's 45, but then on their site I think it said 40 or vice versa. But in general it feels really roomy. So there you have it, the Eagle Creek Gear Warrior XE. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.